A very good morning, everyone. In our previous session, we have started unit number 3, and the name of that unit is operator overloading and type conversion and inheritance. So, we have started with the concept of operator overloading. In that, we have seen unary operator overloading programs. In our today's session, I will show you the practicals regarding binary operator overloading. But before starting our today's session, let us start with the previous session. I would like to share the theory aspects, and we will discuss regarding the overloading, and then we will switch to the today's session, that is binary operator overloading. So what is overloading? When you are having two or more members which have the same name and the number of arguments, or we can say number of parameters, are different, that is called overloading. Overloading is nothing but it is a compile time polymorphism. So you can refer this both the terms, either compile time polymorphism or overloading. There are three types of compile time polymorphism available in C++, that is function, constructor and operators. Function can also be referred as a procedure oriented overloading or function oriented overloading. The both words are equal. Constructor overloading, which we have already seen in our previous sessions, and last is called operator overloading. Now it allows you to specify more than one definition for a function name, which is called function overloading, and an operator in the same scope, which is called operator overloading. But remember one thing, when you are going to overload any basic operator which is already available in C++ or in C language, and when you are going to overload such kind of operator, the basics remains as it is. That means if you want to overload plus operator, right, at that time it will perform addition of two numbers, or it will perform merging of two strings, right, but it will not perform minus. That means whatever the basic concepts are there, it remains as it is. You cannot change it while you are going to use the concept of operator overloading. Now operator overloading means what? You can redefine or overload most of the built-in operators which are available in the C++. Thus a programmer can use operators with user-defined types as well. Overloaded operators are functions with special names which contains keyword like operator followed by the symbol for the operator being defined. That means when you are going to apply any overloading of operator, at that time that can be behaves as a normal UDF only, but when you are going to overload any operator, at that time it contains keyword operator, and then whatever the symbol which is related with the operator or for which you want to overload any operator, so you need to make a symbol of that particular operator. And like normal UDF, overloaded operators may have return type, or overloaded operators may have number of arguments. Now, like any other functions, overloaded operators have return type as well as parameter or argument list. Parameter is also referred as a argument list. Now we have seen the representation of operators and operands. See, there are in the operators there are representation of operators and operands. Over here we have taken a plus b, that means we have used two variables, and in between variable we have used operator. So this is operand 1 and this is operands 2. In between that we have applied operator. Similarly, 3 plus 4, that is the number. When you are going to add any number, so 3 plus 4 statement becomes expression, and literal operand 1, operator, and literal operand 2. So in this way you are able to add two numbers using expression as well as using operators. Now there are two types of operators. Number one, overloading of unary operator and overloading of binary operator. Now what is the term unary? See, when you are having single operand, in our previous slide we have seen what is called operand. In this particular example, A and B stands for operands, and similarly in this particular example 3 and 4 is called operands. So when there is only a single operand, that is called unary operators, and plus, minus, plus plus and minus minus are the operators which can be used to overload any unary operators. Over here we have taken the example of minus 5 or plus 5, plus plus a plus plus, minus minus a minus minus. So this stands for prefix increment, this is called postfix increment, this is called prefix decrement, and this is called postfix decrement. So in this way you are able to use the concept of unary operator overloading. In unary operator overloading, you just keep in mind that when you want to use single operands, that is called unary operator, and when you are using binary, binary means bi, bi stands for 2, right? So when you are going to use two operands, that is called binary operator, and generally we are going to use any operators with the binary operators, but over here we have listed few of them, that is plus, minus, multiplication and division, which can be basically used to overload binary operators. Over here we have taken the example of 10 plus 5 or 10 minus 5 or 10 multiplied by 5 or 10 divided by 5. So this is the example of unary operators, and this is the example of binary operators. So the example of unary operator we have already seen. Let me share the notepad file for the unary minus operator overloading. I am going to repeat these two programs once again. We have created unary class to overload unary operators. Now we have taken three different variables of unary class x, y and z. Inside unary class we have developed two UDF, which is the part of unary class get data and display. Get data contains three argument variable, which is type of integer. X equals to a, y equals to b and z equals to c. That means whatever the values you are passing while you are going to call the get data function will going to store inside the variable x, y and z, and that variable is a part of unary class. Now we are going to use display function to display the values of x, y and z. This code I will explain later on. Then let us move into the void main, clear screen, unary u1. Over here we have created the object of unary class. With the object of unary class we are going to call get data method, which is created inside the unary class, and with getData we are going to pass 3 integers. Now over here we have passed 10, minus 20 and 30. So in this u1 dot a contains 10. Similarly, u1 dot x contains 10. Over here, u1 dot b contains minus 20, u1 dot b, u1 dot y is also minus 20, and u1 dot c contains 30. Similarly, u1 dot z contains 30. So in this way the value is going to store within the variables. Now next line is of cout, that means it will print the message on the screen. Before calling unary minus value of x, y and z are, then we have called u1 dot display. So this function is executed, and value of x, y and z. What is the value of u1 dot x? That is 10, minus 20 and 30 will printed on the screen. So using this statement it will print 10, minus 20 and 30 on the screen. Now after calling unary minus values of x, y, z are, this printf statement is going to print on the screen. Now with the object we have just passed the sign. What is the sign? Minus. So it will call overloaded operator of minus over here. With the object we have not passed any value, so the list of argument is empty right now. Similarly, the given object does not return any value, so return type is of void. Now in our video, in our PPT, we have already seen that this particular overloaded operator is declared just like UDF. It contains argument list, it also contains return type, it contains operator keyword and then the sign of the operator which you want to overload. Now what I have passed? Minus u1, so it will call this particular operator. Now what is the value of x? That is 10. So over here x equals to minus sign we have applied with x. So value of x is 10, but we have passed minus sign over here, so it becomes minus 10. Over here the value of y is minus and minus 20, because this minus sign we have applied over here and the value of y is minus 20. So we have applied it into the bracket, and what is the rule? Minus minus becomes plus. So the value of y would becomes 20, and what is the value of z? That is 30, but we have applied minus sign over here, so it becomes minus 30. So in this way it will store the value of x, y and z. Now we have called u1 dot display. So now the value of x is minus 10, value of y is minus 20 and minus, so minus minus becomes plus, so it will return plus 20 and the value of z becomes minus 30. So in this way it will store the values in the x, y and z, and we have used the concept of operator, unary operator overloading. Next example we have taken is called increment and decrement of operator. Over here we have used pre-increment and pre-decrement. Now see, basic concept you need to know from the C language, right? That what is the rule for the pre-increment, or you need to understand the difference between pre-increment operators or pre decrement operator. Similarly, what is the difference between pre and post? That thing you need to learn, because as I have told you that basic remains as it is. So over here we have used pre-increment and pre-decrement. Now let us start with the void main. We have taken unary class, we have created the object of unary class. When you create the object of any class, it will call default constructor of class, and we have created default constructor of unary class. So in this way u1 dot number becomes 10 using this statement. After that we have written cout backslash n plus plus and the name of object, that is u1. What is the value of u1 dot number? That is 10. So now when you call plus plus operator with any object, see, in C language you are having the facility to apply increment or decrement of any numbers, right, using variable. We are going to use variable over here, plus plus number and minus minus number. But in C++ it allows you to apply this increment and decrement in with the name of object. So over here we have applied plus plus and minus minus sign with the help of unary object u1, right. So now it will call this particular module plus plus, and return type is what? Integer, because the data type of number is what? We have declared it as a integer. Remember one thing, that whatever the data type you have mentioned over here, that becomes the return type of this particular function. So if you have taken float data type, in such case you need to take return type as a float, but right now we have taken number as a integer. So over here with return statement plus plus number, what is the value of number? That is 10. So it will increase by the one number. So u1 dot number becomes 11 now. So it will print 11 on the screen, and after that we have called minus minus operator. So it will go into the in this particular module, and it will return minus minus number, that is pre-decrement we have used. So it will decrease value by 1 and it will return 10. So using this line you will get u1 dot number equals to 10, and using this statement you will get u1 dot number equals to 11. So this is called the concept of unary operator overloading, with which we are able to use single operands, and you are able to apply any operators like plus, minus, plus plus and minus minus. Again I am going to repeat one statement, that remember one thing, when you are going to overload any operator, at that time the basic fundamental rules and regulations remains as it is. You cannot change anything regarding the rules, right. So that fundamental remains as it is. Now let us start with our today's session. In our today's session we are going to understand and learn two types of programs which is based on the binary operators. We are going to see binary operator with integer data type, as well as we are going to refer binary operator with string data type. Let us develop program of binary operator with integer data type. First of all, let us include comment line example of binary operator overloading with integer data type. We need to include two header files, iostream.h and has include conio.h. We are going to develop class b underscore integer, that is binary integer. Inside that we need to take two operands, that is integer x comma y. B integer is the default constructor, but I don't want to write any code inside default constructor, so I have kept it as it is, integer a comma integer b. This is the parameterized constructor which contains two integers. You need to write the value of class variable, that is x, and name of argument, that is a, y equals to b. Now we are going to develop one method, void display, which displays the value of x and y, backslash n, value of x, variable x, cout, backslash n, value of y, variable y. Now we are going to overload binary operators, right? So return type I am going to write b integer, that is the name of our class, right? So return type is what? B underscore integer, then the name of operator is operator keyword, then plus into bracket b underscore integer, and I am going to pass the object of b underscore integer class, that is b. Now b underscore integer, don't worry, I will explain the given code, but let me complete the program first. Temp dot x equals to x plus b dot x. Similarly, temp dot y equals to y plus b dot y, and we are going to return object temp, which is the object of b underscore integer class. So this is the class b underscore integer. Now let us create void main clr ser and get ch. Now we are going to create three objects of b integer class, that is b1, b2 and b3. b1 equals to b underscore integer 2 comma 3, b2 equals to b underscore integer 6 comma 7. Now b3 equals to b1 plus b2. b1 dot display, we are going to print all the three values of all the three objects, b1 dot display, b2 dot display and b3 dot display. Let us save the program. This is the overloading program number 3. Two programs which we have already seen, right? So this is the program number 3. Now let us execute the program, then I am going to explain. The value of x is 2 and 3. The value of x and y is 6 and 7, and the value of x and y are 8 and 10. So how the program is executed? First of all, we have created three objects of b integer class, b1, b2 and b3. So when the object is created, at that time it will call default constructor of that class, but we have not written any data or any initialization inside this particular module. Now see, what is the requirement to do this? When you are going to call parameterized constructor, right? at that time it will first call the default constructor of class. Why? Because we are going to create object of that class. So over here, without any body, I have created b underscore integer and empty body of this particular constructor. So you need to compulsory mention empty body of this particular class. Now with the help of b1 object, we have called b underscore integer 2 comma 3. In our previous video we have done this, right? That with the object name we are going to call class, and inside class we are going to pass the value. So this will call parameterized constructor of b integer class. This contains b1 dot a equals to 2 and b1 dot b equals to 3, and again with this statement b1 dot x equals to 2 and b1 dot y equals to 3. Now second line, b2 equals to b underscore integer 6 comma 7 will again call the parameterized constructor of the same class. So over here b2 dot a equals to 6, b2 dot b equals to 7. Now with this line b2 dot x becomes 6 and b2 dot y becomes 7, right? Now what happens? b1 dot x is 2, b1 dot y becomes 3, b2 dot x is 6 and b2 dot y is 7. Now what happens? Next is b3 equals to b1 plus b2. Remember one thing, up till now whatever the program we have performed, we are going to add two values of any variable or any numbers, but over here we are going to add two objects, right? And over here b contains x, the value of x as well as value of y. Similarly b2 contains the value of x as well as b2 dot y. So how this particular code is executed? Remember one thing, that when it founds plus operator, it will go into this particular module. I will explain this particular line but later on. So after plus it will go into this particular module. Now what happens? b1 plus b2. So b1 contains the value of x, you are passing b1 dot x, b1 dot y, similarly b2 dot x and b2 dot y. Now remember one thing, you need to mug up that whatever the object you have passed before plus sign, remember carefully, listen carefully. See, before the plus sign, whatever the name of object would be, you can directly access the value of this variable with the help of variable. That means when I am going to write x and y, it will return the value of b1 dot x and b1 dot y. So what is the value of x? That is 2, and what is the value of y? That is 3, right? Now what happens? Plus sign is there. Now b dot x, what is the value of b dot x? B dot x is 6 and b dot y means 7. So b dot x contains 6 and b dot y contains 7. What is the addition of these two numbers? It stands 8 and this stands 10, which is going to store into the temp dot x and temp dot y. Now when you are going to return temp object, it will return the value of x as well as it will return the value of y, and temp.x contains 8 and temp.y contains 10. Now we are going to return temp. Now what is the data type of temp? That is the name of class, that is b underscore integer. So similarly you need to write b underscore integer as a return type, right, because we are going to return the object, and when you are going to return object, at that time you need to have the class, you need to catch it by the name of class. So over here b underscore integer we have passed. Similarly, see, if you are going to return integer, at that time in the void main you need to have integer variable to catch or receive. Over here we are passing object, right? So we need to have the object of that particular class. So over here I have written b3 equals to b1 plus b2. That means whatever the values you are passing from this particular module, it will catch into the b3. So what happens now? b3 dot x contains b3 dot x contains 8 and b3 dot y contains 10. How it contains 10 and 8? From this, because we are going to return temp from this module, so it will catch on the object b3, and the value of b3 dot x becomes 8 and b3 dot y becomes 10. Let me repeat once again this particular line. When you are going to overload any binary operator which requires two different types of operands, right? So over here we have taken object b1 and b2. So remember one thing, whatever the name of object you have passed before any operator, it can be used directly. That means when I am going to refer the value of x and y, it will return the value of b1 dot x and b1 dot y. What is the value of b1 dot x? That is 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 will store inside over here. And what is the value of b dot x? B dot x means what? Whatever after plus sign. What is the name of this variable? That is b2. b2 dot x, the b2 dot y, that is 6 and 7. So b2 dot x contains 6 and b2 dot y contains 7, which will catch inside the object b, right? So 2 plus 6 becomes 8 and 3 plus 7 becomes 10. And when you are going to return this particular object, it will return the value of x and y using temp. It will catch into the object b3. So when you are going to display b1 dot display, b2 dot display and b3 dot display, at that time b1 dot x contains value 2, b1 dot y contains value 3, b2 dot x contains 6, b2 dot y contains 7. Similarly, b3 dot x contains 8 and b3 dot y contains 10. So in this way program is executed. Now we are going to develop one more program which is based on the binary operator overloading with string data type. Example of binary operator overloading with string data type. Need to include two header files, iostream.h and has include conio.h. One more file I am going to include, that is string.h, because we are going to use the functions which is declared inside string.h. class b underscore str. In our previous example, it is related with the integer data type. So we have created class b underscore integer. Over here our program is related with the binary string overloading. So I have taken the class b underscore str. Let us write public keyword, character pointer s, integer length b underscore str. Like our previous program, I am going to create empty constructor, right? Now b underscore str, character pointer, one more variable I am going to declare, that is pointer st. Now see, what is my requirement? I want to concat two strings with the help of plus operator, or I want to merge two strings with the help of plus operator. So for that, first of all, let us take length variable. strlen is the function through which we are able to get the length of string. Then s equals to new character. This particular module we have already seen in our previous video. S equals to new character and then length strcpy. This is the function through which we are able to copy the data of st into the s variable, and we are going to print the string \n. I am going to print s variable. So after copy, the value of s would be what? That I am going to print on the screen. Now, like our previous program, we are going to implement b underscore str. In our previous program, we have written b underscore integer, right? Then keyword operator, then plus sign, again into bracket b underscore str, object b, character pointer t equals to new character. The size of this particular object variable t would be length plus b dot length plus 1. I will explain the given code, but let me complete first. \n, after range strcpy t comma s, cout \n str. Over here you need to take care that we have not used strcpy function. Over here we have used string cat. String cat stands for string concatenation, right? So over here we have used strcat t comma b dot s. So this is the module which is related with the class. Now let us implement void main clr and get ch. Now we need to create object of b underscore str class s1. This is the first string, mvm b underscore str s2 college. I have taken two string mvm and college. B underscore str s3 equals to s1 plus s2. Remember one thing, that up till now whatever the programs which we have performed using whether C language or C++, we are going to add two numbers, right? But over here we are going to add two objects with integer data type, as well as when I am going to use plus sign in between two objects, it will merge two strings, right? So that thing can be possible with the overloading of operator. Now let us save the program first. O4 overloading 4. This is the fourth program based on the operator overloading. Now let us execute the program. First string is MVM, second string is college, and after range MVM college is merged. So now let us understand. B underscore str, with the object I have passed one string, that is MVM, right? So it will call parameterized constructor of B underscore str class. Now over here S1 dot S contains MVM. Similarly, st.s also contains MVM. Now this line contains, what is the length of st.s? That is 3. So s1 dot length contains 3. Now s1 dot s contains size of 3. Now with the help of this line we are going to copy the data of st into variable s, right? So s1 dot s contains MVM, right? Now what happens? We are going to call second parameterized constructor, that is called college. And what is the name of object? S2. So over here S2 dot S contains college. Similarly, st dot S also contains string college. Over here S2 dot length returns 7. Now it will occupy the size of S by 7, and using this statement S2 dot S contains college. Now what happens? After initialization of object S1 and S2, it contains MVM and college. Now what is our requirement? We need to take third object, that is B3. BSTR S3. S3 equals to S1 plus S2. As I have told you that S1 is the object which we have called before the operator plus. So you can refer the value of S1 directly, right? How it refers? See, length. What is the value of length? That is 3. What is the value of B dot length? B dot length means S2 object, right? The length of S2 is 7. So it will return 7, and we are going to add one more value. Why? Because we are working with a string data type, so last character would be of null. So now the T object contains the size of 11 after executing this statement. So after the range we are going to copy the value of S into T. What is the value of S? That means, see, S is the variable which we are going to use directly. So MVM is stored inside S. So now T becomes MVM. Now what is my requirement? I want to add college with this particular string. So this string I want to keep as it is, right? So for that we are having ready-made function which is called strcat. This function we have already used in C language, right? So string cat is a function through which it preserves the older data and it add new data or new content. So the value of t is what? MVM after this particular line, and we are going to add one new string, that is b dot s. What is the value of b dot s? So, see, this is the value of length, that is 3. The I am going to write comment line over here so that you can easily understand. Length contains 3. When you want to refer the value of s2, that is b dot length, which contains 7. Similarly, over here s contains MVM and b dot s contains college, right? So t contains MVM now. Now we are going to concat two string, that is MVM, and what is the value of b dot s? That is college. So it will merge two string and it will print MVM college on the string on the screen using this particular line. So in this way program is executed, and we have taken two programs based on the binary operator overloading. One is related with the string and another is related with the integer, right? But in these two programs, just remember one thing, that whatever the operators you have used for the overloading, you can refer values of variable directly before any operators, right? That means if you want to access the value of s1 object, that can be directly accessed using length variable or s variable. But when you want to access the value of s2 object, at that time you need to refer it with the name of object. In this case we have taken b dot length and b dot s, and in this way string is concat and it will print output on the screen. MVM college is printed on the screen. Let me share the notepad file for both the programs which is related with our today's session. This is the first program of our today's session. Example of binary operator overloading with integer data type. This program you need to write in the journal and with the output. Let me scroll down. Binary operator with integer data type, and this is the second program of our today's session, that is binary operator overloading with string data type. Let us scroll down. So these two are the programs which we have performed in our today's session. In our next session we are going to see the overloading of operators using friend function. Thank you everyone.